Everyone, today Paul's trials continue. Knowing that some of the council were Sadducees and the others Pharisees, Paul exclaimed to the council, "Brothers, I am a Pharisee and a descendant of Pharisees. I'm on trial because of my hope in the resurrection of the dead." These words aroused a dispute between the Pharisees and Sadducees, and the assembly was divided. This is because Sadducees say there's no resurrection or angel and spirit, but Pharisees affirm them both. Council members were shouting loudly. Some Pharisees who were legal experts stood up and insisted forcefully, "We find nothing wrong with this man. What if a spirit or angel has spoken to him?" The dispute became so heated, the commander feared they might tear Paul to pieces. He ordered soldiers to go down and remove him by force from their midst. They took him back to the military headquarters, and the following night the Lord stood near Paul and said, "Be encouraged. Just as you have testified about me in Jerusalem, so too you must testify in Rome." So this is Paul's trial before the Jewish council. It's kind of like their supreme court. And so Paul, we see here, cleverly uses kind of a separate issue to distract from his actual case. Maybe he knew that he could see the case wasn't actually going anywhere in his favor. And as with Jesus, his accusers weren't actually looking for the truth anyway. They just wanted to get rid of him. And so resurrection, the issue he brings up, is obviously central to the Jesus story. So it's not a complete distraction, but even before that, it was already a topic of debate between the Sadducees and who ran the temple and who didn't believe in it, and the Pharisees who ran synagogues and did believe in resurrection. One of the things I think is really interesting here is that Paul still identifies himself as a Pharisee. Right? I don't think he's lying about that. You know, we're so trained from the Gospels that when we hear the word Pharisee, we just think bad guys. But they're actually, of the different factions that were around in Jesus' day, they were the group that was the closest to the theology and the practice of Jesus, which is maybe why he argued with them so much, right? We tend to argue with people that are kind of similar to us, but not quite. Because the Pharisees cared about teaching Scripture to common people. They didn't like the Roman Empire, but they weren't advocating violence against it for the most part. And of course, they also hoped in the resurrection. And so for a brief moment here, Paul finds some allies. Sometimes we might be surprised who's on our side. Can we start with what we have in common? Most of the time, there actually are more similarities than there are differences. So which one are we looking for? And whoever ends up being on our side with people around us, as we see with Paul here, the Lord is also on our side. The Lord is not trying to take sides in our arguments. Christ is always on the side of peace and love, and hopefully we can get on that side and meet everyone else we can there with us.